Uncertainty has been one of the greatest difficulties that I have since I can remember. Uncertainty brings anxiety, confusion, and in the worst cases, misunderstandings. You can't live a life free of it, but you can lessen it the more knowledge you acquire, and there isn't a more difficult one to obtain than the one regarding yourself. From the moment we start to sense ourselves as individuals, we start the lifelong quest of acquiring knowledge about who we are, what makes us be the person we are, and sometimes that can turn out to be harder for others. Understanding yourself gives you power over your fears, your decisions, and over your uncertainty. It's security in the way you choose to communicate with the overall world. But there's knowledge that can only be accessed through specific paths, mostly jump-started by the aid of an outside source. I am an autistic woman. I have always been an autistic woman, but for my whole developmental years, I didn't know, and I suffered greatly for it. Through my childhood, through my adolescence, I was plagued by uncertainty. I never was able to fully connect with the overall social circle of my peers, and most of the time, I didn't even want to try. You know when you get a gut feeling about something, you instantly just know that you're not for it. It's just not meant for you. You have this sense of security in your decision and cannot be persuaded no matter what. This was me for most of my life in regards to my classmates. Even within the uncertainty of my own self, I rejected the established status quo of the others around me. I sometimes even despised it, and I paid it with loneliness. There's a price to pay when being yourself when young. You get mocked, bullied, mistreated by kids and adults alike because you're weird to them, and people in masses act horribly towards something or someone who comes out as foreign right off the gate. I never understood back then why by just being myself I caused such disgust. It just served as a confirmation that I was unmistakably other, and I was not meant to belong within their circle, and even though there was pain with it, I also preferred it that way. Because, regardless of my suffering, I never, ever wanted to belong. I would push back every chance I got on that front, but the fact I didn't want to join their circle didn't mean I didn't want to be accepted. I didn't mind being the outcast. It's my thing. I've owned it, enjoyed it. It's the mistreatment I could do without. I have come to crave being proven wrong in some of the stuff I come to believe, so please, help me see another way to this, but I really do think that the overall reality is that no matter what exactly is it about yourself that makes you different or off or quirky to the common society will always find a way to make it wrong. You're not supposed to be this. You're not supposed to like that. You're supposed to be this or do that, and if you don't, then you don't belong. Well, guess what? I'm not supposed to. I wasn't born for that. I'm not meant for your particular collective. I am meant for another. I am meant for another one, and I like it exactly like that. I can say this now with such security, no uncertainty at all, but, oh man, I really wish I would have been able to do it before, much before. When I was forced to mingle in a fish pond I was not meant for. When I had to swallow my words and play nice so that my parents wouldn't be called to school as much. So I wouldn't have moments where I doubted, because I did. I mean, how are you not supposed to doubt when even your own family says, "Why are you like this? Can't you just try and join in? You're being so dramatic, you're just doing this for attention because you want to feel special." It eats at you, not understanding what it is. what it is that you're supposed to do, because you don't feel like you're putting on an act, not when you're just being you, enjoying the things you love, but the second you give in and try to be a part of the other circle, it feels like a performance. You feel out of place, off, uncomfortable, because it's just not you. So you're stuck between remaining the dramatic kid doing weird stuff for attention, or to continuing being you, regardless of rejection. And I chose the latter. But sadly, even though I managed to remain mostly protected by choosing myself over conformity, there's still situations I ended up in because of the more intricate implications of being a female in the spectrum. It's no secret that autistic girls and women have been shunned aside for possible diagnosis earlier in their life when they just don't look the part. Because even now, the world still believes in a certain way autism is supposed to look like, and even then, this is based off of boys and men. To my parents, I didn't look it. To them, I was their happy child who wasn't scared of people and loved dinosaurs. They love me so much and see themselves in me so well that they don't see me differently. And that was because it was just me. They didn't see me when I was left alone with my classmates in school. For them, the vision of me being comfortable in my own home, in my safest of environments, I was the template for how it was in every other place. And it was not. And I understand, Mom and Dad. I do understand that no parent wants their child to be different by default. I know you wanted me to belong, to have many friends, and to be happy with it, but I was not. Not for a very long time. And I just want you to know that I don't think this is because you didn't take the doctor's advice strongly when they told you I might have been in the spectrum. Because even if you did, even if I got diagnosed earlier in life, other kids still would have been mean to me. They would have still treated me badly. There's no strategy for avoiding rejection, not when you're so obviously other. I just think, though, that maybe if we had known sooner, other things that happened down the line could have been avoided. Things change when you stop being a kid. Being a teenager is, in essence, painful to a certain degree. Always, for everyone. That's just something you can't save yourself from. The metamorphosis of the self. It's the time where you really start to gain a fuller sense of who you are, but you're in your most vulnerable state as well. You are a sponge, and you take in everything in your surroundings, good and bad. Words, looks, laughs, gestures directed to you will inevitably create great impact in you and influence the way you conduct yourself to others in return. Your brain gets muddled, and you have a hard time understanding if what you want is because you want it or because you need it. You know how it is when you get to those years. You get told to look for a specific path down the line on your teens. One, you become as close as you can to the cookie-cutter, predetermined look of a female, including the taste in music, clothes, and overall culture. Two, you cater yourself to the acceptance of male attention and begin the process of finding a boyfriend, because you can't advance without one. It's part of the rules, I checked. 3, you learn how to act meek and cute and just submissive enough so you're not perceived as intimidating, but not enough to be considered a pushover. You laugh and giggle at them when they playfully pinch your midsection, or let yourself be dragged into their lap, because in that moment you see it as a sign that you're being accepted as a woman. 4, you use movies, series, and overall media targeted at you as a template for what's to come. No longer may you enjoy the toys, games, and activities that brought you joy when young. Now you're all about your phone, tight jeans, makeup, and competing in a silent war with any other who seeks the same as you. You act 20, but you're 15, and parties are now simply excuses to drink and smoke. Not because you really want to, but simply because it's part of growing up. This is what grown-ups do, so I should do it too, right? You let yourself be molded into what you were told society accepts, and you mostly become numb to it as you conform into the role you were assigned. Do you know what it felt like to see it, but not knowing what it was? how it felt when it seemed I was the only one awake enough to realize it, and even worse, when even while being aware of it, I still gave in up to a certain extent because I was uncertain. Because back then, I didn't know, and on the things I gave in on peer pressure, I paid immensely. The trauma I have is a result of putting on a mask and numbing myself to the things I didn't want but thought I was supposed to get, I'll never fully get rid of. And now, it has become a part of me, and on how I navigate my relationships. I know it's a pointless exercise to imagine how things would have turned out if I had just known back then. If my parents had known. Because what's done is done, and I can't go back and warn myself, but what I can do is reach within myself and tell her, you know, I know now why we are the way we are, and guess what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with us. We were never overdramatic or doing it for attention. We were right when we didn't want to join in with the others. We are not meant for it. We're meant for other things and other people. It's the world who has a problem with us, not the other way around. And I'm not uncertain anymore about who I am and who I want to be. I know more now. I love myself so much more for it too. You know the amazing things we can do because of it? How smart we are? We get to make amazing art that comes to us as natural as breathing. We are in extreme harmony with the emotions we feel. We have an unwavering sense of justice. We can read people very easily. We don't feel awkward for saying things the way they need to be said. We have a way with animals. We can read over 10 books in less than 3 months. When we need to concentrate, we can really concentrate. Sure, not everything is pretty. A lot of things are still hard and even more complicated to navigate through now that we are grown up. And yes, we are still uncertain about many things, but not about us, not anymore. Knowing who I am, what it entails, what it gives me as blessings and challenges has given me security, peace, relief, and the core things I need to know about myself. Now, any uncertainty I have is only in filler arcs in my story, on secluded instances of particular interactions or situations, but not about me. I know who I am. I know what I can do with this amazing brain of mine, disordered or not. I am beautiful in my otherness. I am free to be who I always been, now all visible to me and to others. See, we're not meant to be normal. We're meant to be something else. Us, and do everything that constitutes our amazing otherness within our wide spectrum. Please, don't let the world think you don't have the right to be you. It's within your right to live the way it brings you joy. Society may yell back and punch you as hard as it can, but by the rules of their game, you can get to do the same. There is no bigger battle than the one for the right of space to be unapologetically yourself. This reality is big enough for all of us. If you're still fighting back, please don't give up. Do not give in. Keep pushing. I promise it's not forever. Sooner or later, you'll find yourself and you'll find others like you. You are not alone. Not even when you really think you are. It's just that sometimes the universe takes a little while to take us to the time and place where we will experience the constant bliss of not having to be in fight mode all the time. Eventually, every warrior gets to put down their sword. Your time will come. In the meantime, use the moments of rest to love yourself a little more, to forgive the harsh words you told yourself, to enjoy the things that bring you happiness. Dance, stim, create to your heart's content. Give yourself space to be the fully unfiltered you that you are. My fellow neurodivergent, we are by our own name, not meant to follow the common path. We are meant to exist in a different lane. We are built for a different world, our own, within. And I hope you have a great time finding it, shaping it. I hope you do so sooner than I did. Take care of yourself, fellow warrior.